The Chicago Bears have had a very busy offseason so far, as they've already started looking for their next offensive and defensive coordinators. They're working on re-signing All-Pro Jalen Johnson, and oh yeah, shopping that #1 overall pick. Last year, the Bears had a blockbuster trade with the Carolina Panthers for when the Bears owned the #1 last year, which they swapped first rounders last year when the Bears went from 1st to 8th. On top of that, they ended up getting done all right with that pick. They also got a second rounder, which ended up being Tyreek Stevenson. They got DJ Moore. They got this year's first, which ended up being the #1 overall, and a next year's second from the Carolina Panthers. All three players that I named are playing at a high level, are starters, and have very bright futures with this franchise. Along with that, they also got a ton of picks and they're all top picks. And if I'm doing a blockbuster trade again with that #1 overall pick, and I'm Ryan Poles, I'm trading with the New York Giants. The Giants are a mess right now. They're likely going to be bad again. They're in cap trouble, and they'll do whatever they can to start over. Because any team wanting to start over is going to want that #1 overall pick to get a guy like Caleb Williams. So what am I trading with the Giants today? I'm going to break that all down. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Before I begin my blockbuster trade breakdown, if you want the Bears to trade back the #1 overall pick and get an absolute haul like they did last year, hit that like button on this video so we can show Ryan Poles how many people truly want that to happen again and not take a quarterback or a wide receiver with the #1 pick. Comment the trade back situation you want the Bears to do. There's a ton out there at the moment. I'll be breaking down a bunch of different ones as the weeks go on, so stay tuned for that. And as always, please hit that subscribe button with notifications to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news. My goal is to hit 12,000 before the month is over, and I need your guys' help in order to do that. And also, if you do all the above, you're automatically entered to win an autographed DJ Moore helmet. But let's get into this blockbuster trade with the Giants. So like I said earlier, the Giants don't have a lot of cap this upcoming offseason, and they might have to pull a Denver Broncos move by letting go of Daniel Jones like they might be doing with Russell Wilson. And if they let Jones go, they're going to owe $22 million in dead cap just next year alone. Big yikes. And they're likely going into a rebuild because, let's be honest, the Giants are a mess. And they do have that #6 overall pick in the first round out at the moment, which is very enticing. And to move up to that #1 to get quarterback Caleb Williams, that's going to just be little bit of the trade, because the Giants can get their quarterback of the future on a rookie contract, clear up some other cap in some way they can this upcoming season, and maybe next year they'll have some shot at getting some free agents to slowly start rebuilding this team. I'm not saying they're going to give up the same exact haul as the Panthers. In fact, I think they're going to have to give up an even bigger one. So if I'm Ryan Poles and I'm on the phone with the Giants, or the Giants call me, this is the trade that I am accepting. I am trading the #1 overall pick to the Giants, and I am receiving this year's #6, #39 edge rusher Kavyon Thibodeaux, a 2025 first, a 2025 third, and a 2026 second. So before I get a little bit more into Thibodeaux and why I want him, let me give you a little bit more of a breakdown on why I want these many picks. The #1 pick this year is worth way more than last year's. With how the market has become in sending teams hauls, especially for the quarterback position, this pick is worth a ton. There are at least 6 other teams that are going to be calling the Chicago Bears for that #1 overall pick so they can go out and get a quarterback one like Caleb Williams and start over again with their rebuild, especially if they want to do it right in their minds. And the Giants know that other teams are going to be calling, and they're going to have to give up a lot. If teams do take Caleb Williams, it's going to be an instant money grab. Jerseys, merch, tickets, season ticket holders, the future, bringing in other players. It brings in a lot of interest from all outsiders that would want to, quote unquote, invest in this team. And the Giants are not only going to make their money back quickly, but also they can rebuild faster than other teams because players will likely want to come play with Caleb Williams. But also, some owners just don't care about the fans and they just care about the money. So either that, they're going to get a ton of money for just taking Caleb Williams. And also, just to put into mind, look what they got from Carolina for a not nearly as generational type player as Caleb Williams. A few more picks in a top player under 25 years old is needed. Kayvon Thibodeaux will want to get paid soon as well. Giants don't have the cap. They're going to be in cap nightmare for quite some time. So they're not even going to be, they might as well get something for it. So that's my overall thought process of why I want a lot of picks. Now I'm going to go into Thibodeaux himself. So this past season for the Giants, Thibodeaux had 11.5 sacks with 50 total tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, and 3 forced fumbles in his second season in in the NFL. Crazy speed off the snap and a high motor, great hand moves to get out of blocks, and fast for an edge. And he's only 23 years old and has 2 more seasons left on his rookie contract. He was the 5th overall pick in 2022 out of Oregon. He was a top prospect. He's performing in the NFL already. He's not as proven as maybe a Max Crosby type player, but he's already becoming a star. And again, 23 years old. That's nuts. And having him at that age with Montez Sweat for the next 4 years would be pretty insane. So far, this is my favorite and best for the future trade back situation if we don't want a proven veteran like Max Crosby, which I'll go into that one in a little bit in a couple of weeks here, but stay tuned for that, guys. But overall, let me hear your thoughts about what you think about this blockbuster trade scenario. Would love to hear from you guys. Thank you as always for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, bear down, baby.